Hey everybody, welcome back. This is another Into the Infinite video, and I'm Charlie, and I'm so grateful that you're back. So in this video, I wanted to give you an intro, I guess, and primer on another aspect of my work that I wanted to introduce, which is intuitive artistry. I'm not sure if that one is new or on its own, but for me, it's all together, right? It's all together now. So that is intuitive artistry is really the combination of openness, being open to intuitive abilities and skills and all of those things. Now that's where you kind of get into channeling and, my love of tarot and spirituality, all of those things. And, automatic writing, meditation and having visions come to you when you meditate, dreams where, doing dream state work. And I think it's also about connecting to your higher self, connecting to your guides, your angels, all of those things that are part of the intuitive artistry umbrella. And one of the things that I love about art, regardless of what you're making, is that it's all channeling. Every single artist is channeling. You could channel, your, I guess, perception of God, whomever that is. For me, it's spirit. So, you're channeling spirit, you're channeling times in your life, you're channeling something to make art. And that to me is an intuitive artistry work. That's what you're doing. And for me, it's such a huge component of making any piece and just creating in general, because you're not just open to the flow of, what does this mean? And you're not open to just the translation of skills into a work. It means that you're connecting to something bigger than yourself and that your work has the opportunity to become something bigger, right? To become a statement or, something that's bigger than yourself. And I think that is some of the greatest art that exists. And even the stuff, it doesn't all have to be massive. But I do think that there's something to be said for channeling when you do art. And that's part of the intuitive artistry piece, right? So intuitive artistry is also, it also helps you to shift narratives within yourself about what you can make, and, the limits that we set on our own creativity and how we either open ourselves up or shut ourselves down when it comes to making and things like that. So I think that intuitive artistry is huge, huge, huge. I mean, obviously I'm making a video about it. But I think, so this is the other piece. I wrote this down in my kind of busted notebook. Of course. But it opens you up. And so this is where they're kind of, intuitive artistry is connected to creative divergence, because intuitive artistry uses creative divergence as an alchemical tool. So what that means is that it helps you to, rewrite aspects of the past and other mentally centric, so thought-based activities rather than feelings-based. So it helps you to rewrite the thought activity. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking, right? So if that's true, then what about feelings and how do they factor into it, right? So it's pulling out of the thoughts and the mental activity and really making something from the heart, and creating from this space of like joy and connection and all of that good stuff. So intuitive artistry and creative divergence are quite connected for me, and they're concepts that, you can define one, but it's important to also define the other as well. So intuitive artistry is also using, so tarot cards, for example. Tarot cards are, I love them. They're so helpful to me, and I encourage people to use them. I've been putting together some questions to ask in spreads that I feel comfortable with, to start sharing that on here, and to really expand people's visions of creativity. And I think what I love about tarot is that it's really, and I got this from Soulful Revolution, so if you want to check out that YouTube channel, it's fantastic. And Mary Jo offers so many different courses that I highly recommend. And just the lives where it's just all good. That channel has changed so much for me. But the tarot piece, what I really learned from her was that it's like a subconscious archetype that we're tapping into, right? Tarot is really just 78 cards that have different archetypes on them. And the thing about tarot that tells the story is that we connect with what not only the energy piece, I believe wholeheartedly in that, but what I'm also talking about is we connect to what we're seeing in the cards based on where we are. So it also tells us about ourselves if we want to listen to that, if we want to hear the subconscious story and the archetypes in the place that we're living in, emotionally and mentally, through the cards when they all come out. So for me, it's just an excellent opportunity to really look inward and do, Carl Jung used tarot cards. He talked about tarot cards as one of the main things connected to archetypes for him and his work. So I think that that's really cool, and that's why I really do believe quite strongly in them. And just the experiences that I've had of reading for others and messages that came out, that come out for others through them, is fantastic. So that's really cool. And I think that when we think about archetypes, it's also a component of intuitive artistry too. That's it. It really, it really is. It encompasses a lot, and I think that when we are talking about intuitive artistry, we're talking about inward work, inward facing work. We can call it shadow work, we can call it inner child work. They're the same thing, pretty much. But that's what it is, that inward facing work. And it also is just fun. So it's quite fun. And yeah, so that's intuitive artistry in a nutshell. Very connected to creative divergence, and one is kind of the other, and the other is kind of the other one. But yeah, so thank you again for your time, and for your interest in what intuitive artistry is, and your continued interest in this channel. And I will see you on the next video, my friends.